The judges score the contest 48-46, 48-46, and 47-47 for the winner by majority decision, and
still the undisputed African fighting podcast champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fighting with Friends. This is your weekend recap show, ladies and gentlemen. We are live. With me, as always, as you may know, our reigning defending undisputed vegan champion of the world and our chief analyst is, of course, Brother Gaia.
What's up, everybody? Let's go. Undefeated. Undefeated.
Still undefeated, BG. You have a good weekend?
I had a very, very good weekend, bro. Very chilled, very relaxed. Good fights that was on Friday, Saturday, even Sunday. And yeah, all around good weekend for a lot of the fighters that I support. And they all came out successful. So yeah, can't complain really. And Arsenal won. So yeah, let's go for that.
Let's go for that. So yeah, we'll begin with one of the fighters who did, in fact, shock the world here, ladies and gentlemen. He was the underdog. Maybe not shock the world, that might be an overstatement there, but definitely was good value at the bookies, I believe, at 2-1 on the money line and 3-1 if you had Bud Crawford by decision. So yeah, BG, did you pick him in your preview?
I didn't give a pick in the preview. I just said this is going to be a great fight because it's two of the best over the last 15 years, almost 15 years of boxing. So I didn't give a pick. No, I didn't. But off camera, when I was chatting to Jed about it, both of us were saying Terence Crawford's going to get the job done. Yeah.
Fair play, and get the job done. He did, ladies and gentlemen. So BG, without any further ado, take us away here, bro.
Yeah, dude, what a phenomenal fight. I have to say, it ticked off all the boxes. Yeah, you know, people were wanting to have a knockout, for example, but I didn't think that was going to happen in a fight of this caliber of fighters. They're so good at what they do, and they're both so defensively sound that I didn't think that they were going to be able to knock each other out. That really came down to fundamentals and who was going to be able to utilize the geography of the ring, who was going to control the volume, who was going to control the pace, was going to be the one that was going to win the fight. And the reason why Jaden and I both said that Terence Crawford was going to win is because stylistically, he's gonna be active in the moments where Canelo isn't, and that's gonna maintain him winning the rounds. And that's how he won the rounds. Was every time Canelo throws one shot or two shots at the not even two shots, but he'll throw one shot at the time actually. With so much power at it, which is why Canelo fights, right? It's a lot of power. I did say in the preview, I'm not going to pretend and say like I know a lot about these guys, because I don't really watch the boxing, to be honest with you. But I mean, anyone could watch the fight and you could see what was going on and why they gave it to Terence Crawford. Canelo was throwing a lot of one single shots at the time, walking butt down and throwing one body shot or one right hand or a left body shot with an overhand right hand again. And while he's doing all those things, Bud Crawford was setting it up. He was basically bringing Canelo into a pocket where he sets his feet down, waits for that left body shot to come, and then he will throw like a 3-4 piece combination at him, and it all lands, and then again move out of the way, and then have Crawford chasing him, and have Canelo chasing him around again. And that was basically how the fight was going. And the cleaner shots, I'm not saying that Canelo didn't land anything significant. He landed good, significant power shots, a lot of power shots. All he threw was power shots, but it didn't do anything to Terence Crawford. It didn't hurt him. It didn't stop him. It didn't change the outcome of the fight. It didn't change the pattern of the fight either. And there were moments where Bud decided, I think it was after round 6, where Bud decided to sit in the pocket with him long now and be like, I'm not going to back up anymore. I'm actually going to sit in the pocket with you now and throw combinations. And when he did do that, he started throwing a lot of uppercuts. And you could actually see him hit Canelo back. Canelo actually started taking steps backwards. There was moments where he had to pause. He was doing this thing where we'll take the shot, but then he'll like look at the crowd, shake his head, put his arms down, shake out his arms and walk forward. And although in the moments like that, I felt Bud could have actually gone at him and hurt him even more, because what was happening there was Canelo was taking the shots and he wasn't responding with it. It was more of like, oh, that actually hurt me. And that's why he was pausing and shaking his arms out and stuff like that. And Bud Crawford did it to him to not like chase him down and get maybe punch himself out. He just watched him and watched like, I've got my opponent here. He knew I've got you beat basically. This was all happening in the later rounds. The first 4 to 5 rounds was a lot of filling out stuff, but Bud was stealing those rounds with a lot of active jabs, a lot of controlling the movement and the pace of the fight, and that's pretty much what was winning him the rounds. I felt that at that point of the fight, could it be too much for Canelo to close down? You know what I mean? You just lost 5 rounds now. Like, are you gonna catch it back? You know what I mean? You've got 7 rounds next. Are you gonna get it right? And then Canelo would win 1 round after every 2. You know, and I felt like that wasn't. You're not gonna close the gap by winning it that way. And also the single punches just wasn't really gonna get Bud out of there. Bud was just too smooth, too elusive. And proved why he's the best boxer in my opinion, dude. The man's intelligence and the way that he fights, it's just it's something to watch. And watching that fight back again, I was like, nah, Bud Crawford, he's just way too good, bro. Because he was able to. Everyone doubted him. You know, everyone thought he was going up. What they kept on saying, 2 to 3 weight classes above, and which is quite significant, right? And also people highlighting, if you look at Bud Crawford's performances when he did go up a weight, he couldn't knock anybody out when he did go up a weight. But he was still winning those fights though. You know, we didn't knock him out, he still won those fights. So that's why I didn't believe in the hype when they were saying, oh, he's going up a weight against someone that's much bigger than him and heavier. How is he going to knock Canelo out? How is he going to get the win? But I was like, fundamentally, he's the better boxer. You know, if you look at the textbook of boxing, Bud Crawford is the better boxer. And that's how I thought he was going to win the fight, by being active in every round, landing more shots, controlling the pace, basically making Canelo miss. And that's literally what happened throughout the fight. I think there was a stat that was recorded that throughout the first 5 rounds, his first landing percentage was below 20. My guy wasn't landing, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think Bud Crawford just utilized the overall sort of rule set of boxing to win the fight. And for me, that makes him a remarkable boxer. And I mean, the record speaks for itself. He wiped out so many divisions. He's got now, how many belts did he walk on with? 5 or 6 belts he walked on with. So yeah, there you go, bruh. In my opinion, he is the GOAT.
There you go. We do have a poll running, I believe, on the stream regarding that conversation about Bud Crawford. Is he now the undisputed GOAT? Let us know your thoughts in the chat, in the comments, if you're not watching it live. But BG, do you have any final thoughts on the boxer before we go to Noche, bro?
In my opinion, I think that he could, both Terence Crawford and Canelo could just hang up the gloves here. They don't need to prove anything. They don't have to do anything else. They've done what they needed to do in the sport. They've wiped out everybody. They both got phenomenal records. Canelo is now 62-3. Bud Crawford is now 42-0. So it's like, what more do you have to prove? In my opinion, both of them should retire and then go call out the Paul brothers and say, "Come, let's fight. 50 million bag. Let's go."
Let's go. That's how it seems to go these days. Brother Gaia, we are going to now transfer into UFC Noche. It's on Saturday evening. Prelims start at about 9 p.m. South African time, which is quite decent for us, things considered. Fantastic main event here. Quite spectacle for the fans and us here fighting friends. So without any further ado, BG, let's start.
At the top of the card, let's go.
We saw Diego Lopes defeat Jan Silva with one of the cleanest spinning back elbows you see. And I seem to be saying that every week here, bro. One of the cleanest spinning back elbows. It just seems to be the year of the spinning back elbow, bro. So, I mean, another one here for the books. Absolutely fantastic finish for Diego Lopes. And we were talking a little bit about what this means for the division, which we'll get into in a second. But first, BG, give us your thoughts and your breakdown of how this one played out, bro.
Yeah, what a fight, bro. Just madness personified, just like all kinds of chaos. Every meaning of the word, this fight was that. I see people saying fight of the year, saying mad stuff like that. I don't know about go there just yet. We still got a few months to go of the year. We don't know. There's still great fights coming up. We could have madness happening. But this was a great fight. And I have to give props to Diego Lopes for taking it, because you could have taken someone else, someone that's in the top 5, but you took on a number 10 guy. But arguably John Silver is kind of top 5. He hasn't really. This was his first top 5 opponent essentially. But still very dangerous, right? But why I'm saying giving props to him is because he could have been knocked out in this fight. Let's be honest here. He could have been KO'd. How many times did John Silver land some massive stuff on him, particularly in that second round, right? Big stuff. And he didn't go down. And that's just like, I was like, what the fuck, bro? I saw the recap from Volkanovski, and he was saying, I'm not surprised. He was like, he's got a good chin, I know it. I cracked him multiple times, and the man didn't go down. So, yeah. Diego Lopes, let me just put this off quickly. Sorry, my WhatsApp is coming through. I'm going to say this now. The fight that he had over the weekend has proved to me, I don't know about anyone else, but he's proven to me that he is elite, and he's definitely like championship quality. I do think that if he must get a run back with Volkanovski, the fight will look very different. But in this fight in particular, the way that he was able to get the takedown positions and get dominant positions into mount and then back control and sinking in the hooks and do it in such a way that's, I've never seen someone sink in hooks like that and control a guy to that caliber. Maybe you see it in jiu-jitsu. You see it a lot in jiu-jitsu. But in MMA, you don't see someone get taken down and get controlled. Whenever someone gets back control and they sink in the hooks, a lot of the times you're either getting smashed there or the opponent is riding, shaking you off their back, and then they get you off, fairly easily. But Diego's able to sink in the hooks and maintain the position in a way that I'm just like, I'm blown away. That is just high level kind of stuff. And dominated John Silver with that first round, bro. Like, dominated him. John Silver was doing very good up kicks, very, very good front kicks that was actually landing on Diego Lopes. I'm surprised the man didn't get knocked out. There was one hard one. You could see Lopez's face was like rocked back like that. But the man didn't get rocked, bro. He was just still there. And then John Silver switched into a spinning back kick, which Lopes caught, took him down. And then that's where he started like dominating him quite heavily in that first round. I know someone said a potential 10-8. I don't know if it's 10-8 because it wasn't I'm not too sure if the top control was for majority of the round. I think it was like halfway through the round where he got that takedown and then started dominating him from there. I mean, the domination was intense. I'm not too sure about the 10-8 though. I think going into the second round, John Silver had to do something, right? And this is where I'm going to call him out. I'm going to call him out big time on this one. Although he took the initiative to go there and make the fight, and like, I can't get taken down again. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to take Diego's head off and just unload a bunch of combinations on him. And although that is phenomenal and it was working, like it looked like it was working because he was landing big stuff on him, there still were 3 more rounds after that. You know what I'm saying? An elite fighter won't, unless you know you're going to put him away. And John Silver wasn't slowing down. And I think that led to his demise in the fight. He was putting on so much pressure, landing so many big stuff that I thought to myself, if you don't get this man out of here now at the end of this round, I don't know if you're going to survive round 3, 4, and 5. I don't think you're going to do it because you put so much energy into all those shots. And you weren't getting him out of there. I don't know if that's going to be the correct game plan going into a 5-round fight. You know what I mean? So as though John Silver looked phenomenal and he was throwing good combinations and it was damaging blows, if that's anybody else, they're getting knocked out. Let's be honest. Any other fighter is going to fall asleep to those kind of punches that he was landing on Diego Lopes. But also, in those rock'em sock'em moments, Lopes was landing and he was doing things that was making John Silver get tired. He was staying in the pocket. I liked how Lopes a look on the eye like he was just taking those shots, but I like how he was patient in those moments. Because also, if you're in a car crash and we both swing in here, it's 50-50. One of us is gonna go down. Lopes didn't just swing. He was popping out dabs, kept his guard there, and he actually, when Johnson was coming at him, turned 5-piece, 6-piece combinations. Lopes just did this and took some of it, his hands up again, but he was patient enough to watch what his opponent was doing. I felt that if Lopes had to get in there and go and rock him, sock him, one of them would have fallen out. Poof, KO. One of them would have dropped. So yeah, Lopes showed me that there's a level to the sport and why he's ranked so high was that elite fighters are able to do stuff like that, where they're able to be composed in the line of fire, not just get crazy and get wild the way John Silver did. Because that led to his knockdown. That led to his finish basically. When he was so eyes wide open, going for the finish, it led to his demise. Lopes was like, okay, spinning. And also, if you watch the fight back, before he threw that spinning back elbow, he was feinting the spin. He feinted the spin. He was going backwards, and he feinted it, and he went back again, and then he threw it the second time. So John Silver basically fell for the trap there, in my opinion, and he got too hungry for it. And I like that he out about it at the end of the post fight. He called himself out by saying, "It's my fault. I call myself out for that loss. Like I messed it up." No, he says everyone's going on about how the fighting nets went on a consistent loss. Um, he's like, he could have prevented that, but he got sucked into a fight that he did that kind of led to his demise. And I'm like, yeah, I completely agree, bro. That's the buzz right there. You were too. What's the word that you used last week, AD? You said hasty, too hasty. And I felt that in a 5-round fight, John Silver can be super deadly if he's a more patient fighter. You know what I mean? If he's a more patient fighter, he's got the dynamite in his hands. He can knock anybody out. He's super powerful. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He was able to scramble, get out of the positions that were very difficult that Diego put him in. So there's something there. There's something very good in John Silver, bro. I just think that he said himself, the emotions were too high, and that led to his loss ultimately. But take nothing away from Diego Lopes. The dude fights like a freaking animal, and his grappling is something that people need to start talking about. I know we spoke about it when he was the coach, helping the coaching in the Ultimate Fighter. We spoke about how you mentioned it a while back, AD, that he coaches other UFC fighters to this day still. And dude, he put it on display in this fight. Why he's grappling? Why people fear this man's grappling? I mean, he's the only dude other than Aljo that was able to grapple Ibluev and put Ibluev in some tough situations. You know what I mean? So yeah, big ups to Diego Lopes. The man is top here.
Big ups to you, brother Gaia. And yeah, very good points mentioned there specifically about the Diego Lopes chin. Does he have the best chin in the game right now? Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments if you're not watching it live. But yeah, PG, we were talking a little bit about what this does to the geography of the featherweight division where Alexander Volkanovski is the reigning champion. What happens next year for Diego Lopes as well as Jean Silva, bro?
For John Silva, oh, you got it on screen. For Jean Silva, I think a fight maybe against Aljo. Aljo came off a good win and he's climbing up the ranks. But John Silva, it looks like there's other matchups that's been happening. Let me just pull up here on my screen so I can make sure that I'm correct here. So that was bantamweight, no featherweight. So Aljo won. Lerone Murphy won his fight. Yair Rodriguez also won his last fight against Pitbull. Diego Lopes won his fight now, and Mabzayev was supposed to fight Adam Pico. And before that, he was supposed to get Volkanovski, but he didn't get either of them. So we're here now. In terms of, I'm gonna go starting with Jean Silva. In my opinion, you should be fighting someone like a Josh Emmett or Arnold Allen. Because I think Yusuf Zalal's got a fight, if I'm not mistaken. He might be getting Josh Emmett next, if I'm not mistaken. Or he could be getting Arnold Allen. But I just need to refresh my memory of which one is fighting which one there. But I know for a fact that Yusuf Zalal is in the matchup. So that means Jean Silva could be fighting. What's the name? I would love to see him go up against someone like Aljamain Sterling or Arnold Allen, to be quite honest with you. And then
What about
I don't know if he's
Dan
going to
Ige,
get those
bro?
fights. Just you see, Dan Ige, he's been up and down, man. You know what I mean? And John Silva, this was his first loss in this was his sixth fight in the UFC, and this was his first loss. So he's 5-1 in the UFC. So the fighters below him, like Patricio Pitbull, Steve Garcia, David Onama, Dan Ige, Giga Chikadze, I don't know. Maybe Dan Ige would put up a good fight, but he lost to Pitbull. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think John Silva could be fighting up, even though he lost, because he lost to someone that just fought for the title in his last fight. So it was a big jump for John Silva, if we've been honest. Ranked number 10, this was a big jump for him. He didn't really have to take this fight. You know, he could have said, nah, wait, give me Emmett instead. I want to progressively get there. Give me Emmett instead. But he jumped, took on the title contender. You know what I mean? So I think it was the loss for me is big, but it was like, and I had a feeling it was going to happen. And now it proves where John Silva sits, exactly where he is, fighting against someone like a Yusuf Zalal or Josh Emmett. I don't want to say Brian Ortega because he hasn't made weight in the last 3 years. So someone like a Arnold Allen as well. Those are the guys that we can compete against. That's the caliber opponents where he's put himself right now. For what's that sound? So mic, are you getting like a snowy effect from my mic?
It's just dipping a little bit.
Yo, that's so weird, bruh.
It's clear though.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just getting like white noise in my headset. In terms of Diego Lopes, I know you and I spoke about this on off camera and last, like over the weekend, like who next for Diego Lopes. And I was saying that I don't know if a rematch is warranted just yet. He's probably going to have to go against someone like Lerone Murphy, or even Yair Rodriguez. And I think the UFC is probably going to do that. They're most likely going to give Lerone Murphy to Volkanovski, because Volkanovski wants to fight in December. So that's probably going to be the fight. Mabzayev is still injured, and there hasn't been any information about what his recovery is looking like. So then that leaves him out of the question. So then I think the UFC is probably going to go Diego Lopes and Yair Rodriguez, most likely on the same card, or maybe early next year, and then do Volkanovski and Lerone Murphy December. I think that would be the good fight to make, in my opinion. I feel like it's a good progression for the division as well, purely because the only two fighters that Volkanovski hasn't fought that's in the top 5 or 3 is Aljamain Sterling, Lerone Murphy, and Mabza Ibloev. He's fought Diego Lopes. He's fought Yair Rodriguez. I don't know if he's fought Arnold Allen, but he's fought Brian Ortega as well. He's fought most of the guys. So I think at this point, the only fighter that Volkanovski should be getting, if he still wants to fight in December, should be Lerone Murphy. Especially because Lerone Murphy won his last fight. He took no damage in that fight. So, yeah, that's the way I see the division at this point. Diego Lopes versus Yair Rodriguez, and then Lerone Murphy versus Volkanovski. Mabza Ibloev could I think, wait in the wings. When he comes back, he could get one of those guys. I don't think he'll get a title shot when he comes back, but he could get one of the maybe he could get the loser. He could get the loser of Volkanovski and Murphy.
Give thanks, brother Gaia. Everything okay there, bro?
No, the wind is so strong. I'm hearing stuff blowing out the house. Yeah, not sure if it's our stoop. You know, our little
I see.
wooden stoop.
I see. David Martinez defeated Rob Font by unanimous decision. This was the co-main event of the evening. So yeah, I didn't actually see this one, BG, so I'll give it straight to you here. Tell us what you saw, bro.
I'm just updating this poll here. So with this fight, it was just pretty much on the feet the whole time. Both guys tried to shoot some takedowns here and there. Unsuccessful with all of it. But in terms of like striking, I did think David Martinez was going to be a good challenge. I mean, the dude, he's got some good finishes in his career. Great boxer, fast striker, a lot of power. But Rob Font is also fundamentally a very, very good boxer, like very competent in what he does. Good hands. But I think the age is catching up to him, if we're being real. And this fight kind of showcased that. I did say this about Rob Font in his last two fights when he fought against Matsumoto and who was the other young cat he fought against? Another young lady. But he didn't look the most phenomenal in those fights. In fact, the fight against John Matsumoto, he won a split decision. So I was like, I actually gave the fight to Matsumoto, and he didn't look that phenomenal. But he always has good boxing, right? But he got outstruck in this fight. The volume, the overwhelming punches, the overwhelming volume from Martinez is the one that carried him through the 3 rounds, and looked good. He looked good. Nothing major to go on about this fight. If we're being real, there wasn't like, massive moments where you're like, oh my word, he got rocked and he's knocked down, and it was just a very good stand-up fight between very good boxers between the two guys, and Martinez overwhelmingly used a full array of kicks and punches and pushed the pace, bruh. He just kept the pace going, kept it on the front foot, and won the fight unanimously. What does it do for the two of them? I think personally, it's a good addition to the bantamweight division in David Martinez. I think it's a very good addition. I don't know if he's championship quality, but he's a very good addition. He can be a thorn for some of those guys. But for Rob Font, in my opinion, there should be the sign here. Like could be the talent sign. He didn't get KO'd or anything like that, but you got outstruck by a younger cat. And you older. You know what I mean? So he's touching 40. So I'm like, there should be the sign for Rob Font now to be right. I know why. From here on out, I'm probably only gonna do like uncle fights if I'm still gonna be contacted by you guys. Give me the uncles. Otherwise, maybe go take up boxing.
Yeah. Give thanks, brother Gaia. Do you have any final thoughts on this one before we move to Rafa Garcia?
Nah, I think we can move on to Rafa Garcia. That was a mad fight again, bro.
And move on, we shall. Rafa Garcia getting the job done by TKO here in the last round of the fight. Straight to you, BG.
Okay, easy. Yeah, again, rock'em sock'em kind of fight. I think I went with Jared Gordon in the preview. Just because I thought he's a tough guy. He's a go-getter. He goes toe to toe with some of the best dudes. But in terms of just boxing, Rafa Garcia is also a very good boxer. The dude's got some good finishes. And just put some boring fights when he plays it very safe. When he can see, okay, I can't really strike with this dude. He tries to grapple a lot, and like those are very smart things to do. But that's kind of put on boring fights when you don't actually go anywhere with that grappling, right? In this fight, these two guys were going toe to toe, nipple to nipple, dick to dick, all the way, every single round. Just chaos, bro. Lots of takedown attempts. Lots of sub attempts with Rafa Garcia. And so I'm saying like he's a very well-rounded athlete, but like he's not super dangerous. He just does all the basics really, really well. But yeah, they were going so hard in the first 2 rounds, so much back and forth moments in that first 2 rounds. You could see when they got to the 3rd round that both gentlemen were really, really gasping for air, super tired. I mean, the punches were coming so slow, but what they were doing is that they were standing in the phone booth in the 3rd round. They were like, so close to each other, just slugging it the whole time. And there was a moment where Garcia caught him with a nice piece, nice combination that basically backed up Jared Gordon, and like he walked back and you could see he was like, oh, I took that shot a bit on a slow step. And then when Garcia approached him to come forward again, Jared Gordon shot for a takedown, which was, I don't know why he did that at that point. Maybe because he was really tired. But as he shot for the takedown, Garcia just threw a hard right hand, flipped him on the chin, dropped him, and basically just went for the finish from there, and just lots of ground and pound, bang, 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 took him out. And yeah, won the fight. And a good fight, fun fight for the fans. If you want to see like just a bloody war of them going back and forth on each other, very good fight. But I don't think it does anything for their careers in terms of for Rafa Garcia. Like, does he go up from here now? Does he really like challenge the lightweight division, or does he stay? Does he remain an unranked fighter and keeps fighting unranked fighters? You know what I mean? What does it do for him? And I just feel like, in my opinion, if I look at the lightweight division as it stands right now, I don't think Garcia can crack that top 15 period. I really don't think so. Joel Alvarez is not even in the top 15 anymore. And imagine Joel Alvarez takes on Rafa Garcia. What does that fight look like to you? You know what I mean? That's just like you're sending Garcia to the slaughterhouse. So yeah, I don't know if he can really crack that top 15 of the lightweight division. But still, great fight though. Like, in a nutshell, great fight.
Agreed. The lightweight division is arguably one of the most stacked in the entire organization. Both David Martinez and Rafa Garcia started as underdogs, getting the job done there in Mexico, or for Mexico, on Noche anyway. Someone who wasn't an underdog, never an underdog, always an overdog, and sometimes overweight. Of course, is Calvin Gastelum. Once again, missing weight here. He did get the job done by unanimous decision.
I don't know.
So give us your thoughts here, brother guy.
I actually don't have any thoughts for this fight. I don't have anything nice to say about it. Absolutely snooze fest. Put me to sleep. I mean, just look at Calvin Gastelum's. Like, look at his build, bro. Like, what happened to this, bro? Literally, what happened to him? Because I was riding the hype of Calvin Gastelum when I watched him come into the UFC, make his title run, and I don't know what happened to this, bro. I honestly don't know why he's still there. And the fight also, like, he's always gonna have good boxing, but yeah, what else? Like, what next? You know, Stolzfoots. I don't like Stolzfoots, but Stolzfoots tried to do other stuff. You know what I mean? He tried to grapple in this fight. He had a reversal. He landed more strikes than Calvin Gastelum, which I thought was shocking, because I don't rate Dustin Stolzfoots at all. Like, at all. I don't give him any. His overall rating on the UFC is like 12. So
this
yeah,
bold is
really
insane.
surprised that they still. Look at him. What is
Look
that?
at that bold.
What is he?
Professional
I
athlete.
don't understand
He's
what that
crazy.
is. I'm surprised he's not
Honestly,
fighting in the heavyweight division.
he's massive, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He's
sorry,
big,
yeah.
and he can't even make the middleweight limit. He goes over the weight limit. So, and this is consistent, AD, like back to back fights. This man has not made weight, and the UFC still has him there. We've seen the UFC get other fighters for far less. You know what I mean?
Brian Battle, one of them, bro.
Brian Battle's another guy who was on a win streak, gets cut from the promotion. Tony Ferguson was on a 10-fight losing streak, and he was still fighting under the promotion. Like, what are you doing? Like, you can't tell me Calvin Gastelum has got that much star power that he's still on the card after doing so many infringements to the company. You know what I mean? The one thing you're supposed to do is make fucking weight. That's the one thing you're supposed to do. Before you can even throw a punch at another guy, you need to make weight first. And you can't even get that right. You know what I'm saying? There's no hydration tests. You know what I mean? So you can get away with shit in the UFC. There's no hydration tests. You still get it wrong. Nah. Idiot, let's move on. I've got nothing to say about this, bro.
Multiple offenses there by Calvin Gastelum. But anyway, let us know your thoughts in the chat, in the comments, if you're not watching it live once again. Calvin Gastelum What are your thoughts on that build, bruh? How does one obtain that build? That's the kind of build I was looking for, again, trying to get to 94 kgs. But we'll go to Diego Ferreira here. Doesn't he look like a Timu Dustagera? Anyway, he came up short here in the second round against
Yeah.
Alexander Hernandez by TKO. PG,
Yes, sir.
what are your thoughts? Sorry, I didn't have that up on screen. There we go.
No, all good. Yeah, this is also a very, very good fight. Diego Ferreira is 41 years old, but I thought he was a bit younger than that. He's actually of the old guard, and very good jiu-jitsu, really good grappling, and also very good boxing. He had the nannies on the back foot the whole of that first round as well as the second round. But what the nannies did really well was he did not stay. What's the word I'm looking for? He did not stay stagnant, right? Which was brilliant because then he had Ferreira basically just trying to track him down the whole time. And he knew that Ferreira's best weapon was going to be that grappling, right? Take him down, submit him. He's got fantastic jiu-jitsu. But Hernandez just didn't give him any opportunity to shoot. He just kept on switching stances, changing angles, changing directions. And while he was doing all of that, he was still popping out some shots. Just like Terence Crawford, the fight, the exchanges happened because of Hernandez. You know what I mean? Pereira couldn't throw a punch unless Hernandez allowed him to by stepping in. You know, otherwise, if that didn't happen, Pereira was going to chase shadows the whole time. He was going to march him around the octagon and chase and not going to get anything. And then Hernandez was just like, okay, so basically you following me, you basically falling into my pattern. And then when I'm going to step in and throw something, you're going to have to react now. Right? And that's what Hernandez was doing the whole time. And I think that really was dictating the pace for him. And then when he did go and throw his combination, one boom boom and landed the right hand. There was a left hook that basically dropped Ferreira. And I was like, yo, Ferreira looks badly hurt. And when Hernandez went down onto him and started landing some heavy right hands, bro. Like heavy. There was at least, I counted about 11 clean right hands, right? No defense from Ferreira. Like you could see his hands were flat like this. Out on his feet, out. And the referee attempted to stop the fight twice, but didn't. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing, ref? This man is literally has got no defense. His arms are flat on the ground. He's not trying to get Hernandez off him. He's basically killed geslat. And then he just got this one hand at the back of Herrera's head like this, and just like landing, just like hitting him like it's a street fight, bro. And I just thought to myself, yo, ref, you could have stopped it after like 4 punches already. Literally, you could stop it after the 5th punch was landed. But he didn't. And that just like left a very sour taste in my mouth. But also in terms of the fight though, good performance from Hernandez. Takes him on to a win streak now. It's back-to-back wins in the space of like 2 months. So well done to him though. Granted, he's against an older guard, you know, like it's Uncle Ferreira. But Ferreira was a dangerous guy. It was a dangerous opponent for him, and he had to beat the guy who was in front of him, and he did that. So well done for that. And yeah, I think he deserved that win.
100% PG. Santiago Luna got the job done against my Vietnamese brother Wang Le. This came in the very first round with only 2 minutes and 48 seconds on the clock. How did this one play out, PG?
I mean, it was a relatively quick fight, right? I mean, I know it says 2 minutes 48 seconds, but it felt quick for me because when they started the fight, neither guy really was looking to stay on the ground. There was like one takedown each, but nothing really. It was stuffed like immediately. It was like stuff. Now we're gonna start boxing again, and there's a lot of hype for Santiago Luna coming to this fight. I think he was 6-0, and this is now his 7th win. I think 5 finishes or something like that. So the dude is like, I knew something about him in terms of that. Like I was like, okay, he's obviously a good prospect in Mexico. Memory serves me well. I think he is a regional champion or national champion in Mexico. So the dude is pretty intense, even though he's only got 7 fights or something like that. So, but for Quang Le, I was a bit disappointed. I'm gonna tell you why. He looked like he was super slow in there, super slow, like slow high kick, slow jab, leaving the right hand down when he throws a jab. And Luna saw that. Luna threw a counter left early in the fight that clipped Quang, and he didn't fix that problem. He didn't get the hand back up there. He kept The hand kept coming down, and which led to his knockdown, which led to him being basically knocked down twice in that fight. Both knockdowns came from a left hook. I just thought to myself, yeah, Quang, why just keep the box, just keep your guard here, bruh. Even if you're in the fisticuff and you guys are exchanging, Luna didn't come out of position. Whenever Luna would throw something, his defense was there. Right hook, defense, left hook, defense, two-piece combination, come back to the defense. Whereas Lei kept on, dropping guard and letting his hands down, and he was getting clipped a lot of the times. And yeah, I think I'm a bit gutted at that performance just because it looked like it was amateur-like. These are professional fighters. I just feel like you look at the elite guys, you don't really see them let go of their defense. They always make sure the defense is top tier, whether it's takedown defense, striking defense, they make sure that they keep it at a high level. And I think Quang just let go of one of the fundamental basics, and that's just keep your guard up. He didn't do that. And that's what led to him getting clipped in that first round so heavily. So big ups to Luna. I don't agree with what the broadcast said, saying, the UFC's got a new superstar. I don't know how true that is, because this is his first fight and he fought against pretty much another newcomer, if we're being real. So yeah, I think before we can say stuff like superstar, we need to let Luna put at least 4 or 5 fights under his belt under the banner before he can get to that kind of status, right? But take nothing away from his performance. Very good boxing. But what do you expect, right? It's from Mexico. Those guys love to box. So yeah, well done to Santiago Luna.
Give thanks, brother Gaia, and that does round out the main card of UFC Noche quite nicely for us. We can get to a little bit of prelims. We had Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos, which could have some implications in the women's strawweight division. So BG, talk us through that and any other fights you'd like to highlight on the prelims here, bro.
Okay, cool, bro. Yeah, again, this fight, I kept my eyes on it just purely because of the ranking of the two fighters. I'm also a big fan of Tatiana Suarez. Just only because I've watched it through the Ultimate Fighter as well. But I kept an eye because of where these women are ranked, right? It's basically number 2 and number 4. So it was number 1 and number 4. So see, Suarez is number 2, yeah. So that means that the winner here is gonna, put themselves back into that conversation for a title fight. I don't think Tatiana Suarez gets a rematch, but she definitely puts herself in that conversation of all right, my next fight is either number 1 contenders fight or I'm getting another title shot. And that's what this fight held. A bit gutted at Amanda Lemos for not taking the fight to Tatiana. I always felt that, look, I said Tatiana was going to win. I think that she's by far the better grappler. But the striker is not the greatest. I just felt that Amanda Lemos, in my opinion, was just too respectful of the grappling. And everyone knows if you do your homework really well, you know that Amanda Lemos doesn't like being taken down. When she gets taken down, she loses. Every time she gets taken down, by a dominant fighter, other than Yasmin Lucindo, she lost those fights. You know what I'm saying? So I think Tatiana Suarez knew, right? Just grab her, take her down. I'm taller, I'm stronger. I have a better wrestling credentials. If I take her down, I'm going to beat her. And I think that's what she did. Although Lambos landed some very good calf kicks in the fight, she needed more of those. When you take on wrestlers and you blast those legs out with calf kicks out, you force 2 things out of them. 1 or 2 things. They can't shoot double legs anymore because they got no power to step on. And secondly, you make them panic shoot because now you're taking out their legs. So now you're forcing the reactions out of them. And Lemos didn't do that enough. And that's me. It allowed Suarez to play her game. Up against the cage, get clinch, get takedown, sweep the legs, block the hands, boom, and then dominated there. And that's exactly what Suarez was doing. And fought a good fight, fought the right fight to win, and that's how she won the fight. So yeah, big ups to Tatiana Suarez. But Lemos is also getting older, so she has slowed down quite significantly. And she doesn't throw a lot of combinations. Lemos is the kind of fighter that relies heavily on punching power. And if you watch how she fought when she got all those knockouts, it came from, on the back foot, letting the opponent chase them down, step to an angle, throw a hard right or a hard left, and then drops them and then basically beats him off like that. And that's how she won her fights. And that wasn't the fight style. That wasn't the fight game plan that she needed to implement in this fight. Because if that was the game plan they were going to come in for, and which is what she did, it allowed Suarez to take all the time she needed to measure up takedowns and do it the whole time, because she didn't need to worry about being pressured or being taken a lot of combinations. She was just like, "You're not going to throw much. Well, I'm just going to shoot on you and take you down." That's what she did, and that's how she won the fight. So yeah, big up for Tatiana Suarez. The other fight that I wanted to talk about was the Alessandro Costa versus Alden Corrier. I think Corrier is Joshua Van's training partner from the same gym. This was his debut fight, and he looked good, bro. I know that the finish was a little bit, there's an asterisk next to the finish because Costa came into that into that third round basically with a broken foot. Like I think his right toe, the pinky toe and the toe after the pinky toe. I think those two toes were completely busted. And then also on his left foot, same thing. The left pinky was also busted. So the man had no legs to stand on. And this is at the end of the second round. And his coaches spoke to him about it and even said, "Okay, let go out and just be wary of it and you can land something big." And I thought to myself, no. If I'm his coach, I say, "Dude, I'm throwing in the towel right here. You can't even stand. Why are you still fighting?" You know what I mean? And then because you could see when the third round started, Costa didn't go forward at all. He just kept going backwards. Once he saw his back was against the cage, he just stood still and put his guard up like this, like waiting for the combination to come. He was waiting for the finish to come. And so I was like, you see, before that, he fought a very good fight. Round one, he was making it a very good fight. He still lost the first round and he lost the second round, but he was throwing some good hard punches in there and he was making it a bit of a spectacle. Whereas Alden Corrier was just looking smooth, bro, elusive. I'm gonna say it now. He looks better than Joshua Van, in my opinion. And that was just one fight I watched him in. And yeah, good finish. Take nothing away from it. It's not his fault that Costa's toes left him. You know what I mean? It's not his fault that happened, but he had to do what he had to do, and that was finish the fight, and he finished the fight. So yeah, well done to Alden for getting the job done. And then lastly, I'm not going to talk about Cedricus, Dumas, and Zachary. That was just a very weird fight. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the opening fight on the fight card between Rodrigo Sanzenado and Daniil Danchenko. That was the ultimate fighter finale for that welterweight division. And I said in the preview, I felt that Daniil Danchenko was going to get the job done just because Rodrigo only really has a very good first round. Even in the Ultimate Fighter, when he won all his fights in the Ultimate Fighter, when they got to the second and third rounds in the series, he didn't look so good. He got tired. He always could resort on his jiu-jitsu and his grappling to stay safe and not take damage. And I just felt that he was going to lose the fight because he's too emotional. He's very overhyped when he comes into that first round. He explodes hard in the first round, but then doesn't really get the finish. And then when he's tired, you can beat him. And I always felt that Danchenko was going to get him out of there because Danchenko is super, super dangerous. He's one of the very few fighters in the UFC or in MMA in general that uses Muay Thai weapons, traditional Muay Thai weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like, the last time I saw a fighter utilize elbows the way Danchenko uses the elbows was another guy who was on the Ultimate Fighter. I forget his surname. I forget his name now. Black dude. But he was in the season with Ronda Rousey and Misha Tate. And I watched him in that fight, and he threw elbows in a way now that I was like, this is a Muay Thai guy. And then he also trained in Muay Thai in Thailand. Daniil Danchenko lives and trains in Thailand as well. So he brought those weapons and that training from Phuket Fight Club, brought it into the UFC. And he's using it. See that every time Rodrigo was come and punch and get aggressive with him, Danchenko just keeps his guard up and throws an elbow, bang, bang, cuts him open, hurts him badly, bro. And I'm like, yo, Danchenko, let's go. Beautiful elbows. And even when he faked the takedown, he would fake takedowns to get Rodrigo to bite in it, then come up with another elbow. And I was like, nah, this kid is phenomenal. And he's only, 22? 22 years old. So remember the name, Daniil Danchenko. Remember that name. Just if he gets better at grappling, because I've seen people in the UFC, in the Ultimate Fighter, when they try to take him down, he does reverse those exchanges and he gets back up to his feet. But I want to see him also have offensive grappling. You know what I mean? Make your opponent afraid of you in every avenue of the fight. People are scared of Islam Makhachev because they know that not only can he submit you and take you down, it's easy, he can kick you out, he can knock you out as well. You know what I'm saying? Well, people are scared of fighting someone like that. So Danchenko, he's got the stuff. He's got this. It's a very. I don't want to use the word unique. I don't like using that word unique so much. Danchenko is unique in the sense that he's bringing a fight style to the UFC that is unrecognizable to the UFC. You know what I mean? Just like how people don't know anything, the UFC fans don't know anything about the Myanmar fighters. It's the same kind of thing like that. People are mesmerized by Joshua Van because they haven't seen that. And the same thing with Donchenko. It's like he's going to be something that people aren't in that UFC welterweight division.
Give thanks, brother Gaia, and there you go. That is UFC Noche at its end. Go to some final thoughts and post fight rating for the card, please, BG.
Final thoughts. Crazy main event. Just all kinds of excitement. Lots of finishes as well, but the matchups weren't really. Didn't want to make me wake up for it. Let's put it that way. You know, they weren't like fight. They weren't many stars on. What I mean, there weren't many stars on the card. But there were a lot of finishes. So I'm gonna give it a solid 6. I don't think I gave it a rating before the fight card, but I'm gonna leave it at 6.
Fair play, fair play. Let us know in the chat your post-fight rating for UFC Noche. Let us know in the comments if you're not watching live, ladies and gentlemen. But we are going to take just 1 second to transition to One Friday Fights 124, which took place on Friday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. as per usual. That is, of course, South African time. BG, we did see Suriyanlek defeat Decho in the main event. And you can let us know in our poll that we're running if that was the right decision for you. So yeah, another fantastic night of Friday fights, brother Gaia. And as always, we'll start
At the top of the card.
Yeah, as I said in the main event, we did see Suriyanlek defeat Decho by unanimous decision. Extremely close fight here, brother Gaia. I see that you are busy with some
No.
control room related things.
All good,
But
all
when
good.
you are ready, sir, the floor is yours to tell us about this fantastic spectacle of main event that we saw here on Friday evening.
Yeah, this fight had us going out of our seats. I remember we were like going null here. Face changes and what. But yeah, what a fight. And I'm gonna say it now. Decho, top talent. The dude's a top talent. Because he fought a very dangerous opponent that could have really like taken his lights out, right? Nick has got what 9 bonuses in one championship with what a massive amount of finishes. So you know what the threat was. You know that this dude's gonna come at you with a lot of power. But you also know that he's not really gonna overwhelm you with lots of different variations of combinations and footwork, and he's not gonna trap you. He's just gonna try and walk you down and get into a smash position where he could just like hit you with something big. And Decho utilized his advantages. He utilized his reach. He utilized his speed. His counter striking was very good. His counter elbows are phenomenal. But his best weapon for the fight was the outside low kick, because he was chopping up Suriyanlek's leg. And also, if that had not happened, I don't think Suriyanlek would have actually exploded like that and taken the fight to Decho. You know what I'm trying to say? Because that was only in the 3rd round. With the 1st and 2nd round, Decho was eating him up the whole time, and Suriyanlek was just taking that leg kick, trying to catch it, but then land something, but couldn't. Was so unsuccessful the whole time with that combinations. I just thought to myself, yo, Decho is actually piecing this man up for 2 rounds here. And then they got into to the 3rd round, which just changed everything. It's just changed everything for the judges, changed everything for everybody. That was the round where Suriyanlek was like, I am just gonna go through this kid now, and I'm gonna beat him up. And that's what he did. And he landed himself 2 very good knockdowns. And maybe that's why the fight got tipped into his favor, was because it was 2 knockdowns just like Stella Hemelsberger against Jackie Buntan. There was 2 big knockdowns. And yeah, he had Decho in all sorts of trouble in that 3rd round. I would say that he actually won the 3rd round, even though Decho knocked him down with a nice left elbow counter. I still felt that Suriyanlek won that 3rd round. Now the thing is, what was the point system there? How much points did they give him for those knockdowns? Because he really did because in the second and first round, although Decho won that 2nd and 3rd round, he didn't really put Suriyanlek in. He didn't rock him. He didn't drop him. He didn't put him in a position where he was close to finishing the fight. You know what I mean? It was a lot of piecing him up from the outside and Suriyanlek trying to close the distance and catch his leg, and that's kind of what was happening for the first 2 rounds. So maybe in that second round, the judges maybe have given it to Suriyanlek. I don't know. I didn't see it. But I'm not gonna be upset about it because I did pick Suriyanlek to win, right? I did think he was gonna win. Um, but yeah, I just thought overall theme of the fight, I just thought that judging was a little bit shady for me. Um, because I scored 2 rounds to 1. You know what I mean? I
Mm.
don't know if you agree with that. Decho definitely was the more what's what I'm looking for. He landed more, and he didn't take a lot of damage in the first 2 rounds. Like Suriyanlek couldn't land any of his power shots. Like he was hitting the air the whole time, and Decho was able to get away from it and just looked like he was in control, bro. He was fully in control of that fight up until when he got rocked, until he got dropped twice in the third round and changed everything for the eyes and the optics of the fight. But still, very
Yeah.
great main event.
Thank you, brother Gaia. And yeah, speaking of picks, bro, you did go 100% on your picks on our parlay this week. Well, last weekend. Keeping up that fantastic success rate that brother Gaia has been having with One Friday Fights picks. So let us know if you appreciate those. If you're making any money from the BG's picks, let us know. Send us a super chat. All those good things. Do you have any final thoughts here, brother Gaia, or should we move?
Yeah, I think Suriyanlek dodged a bullet there, and I think the fan base is now realizing that Deco is actually a good fighter. And I was apprehensive because he only had one opponent in 2 fights, and he fought the same guy twice, and that was Isanua. Remember him, the young kid? Fought him twice and beat him by decision. So I was like, okay, you're good, but I'm gonna, I want to see a bit more. And then to see him get Suriyanlek, I was like, oh, you're giving him someone really big already. And he proved to me that he can go toe to toe with a, like, you know what I mean, with a very very dangerous opponent in Suriyanlek. So well done to that. That's my big takeaway from that fight.
Play, brother Gaia. Some flyweight Muay Thai on the co-main event. We had Mayamot defeat AMW by unanimous decision. What did you see, BG?
Yeah, Memot doing Memot things, bro. Another young stud in the flyweight division, consistently making weight. By the way, not cutting, no catch weights. Um, and he looks good, dude. He's got a very good talent. Patient kind of fighter. Very good combinations. Fast when he's in the pocket. Lost a lot of kicks out on the outside. And that's what he needed to do in this fight. He needed to keep Amoy on the edge of his punches and not allow the fight to get into clinching positions because that's what Amoy was going to get him. Early in the first round, Mahmoud had a very good straight right. While being backed up, by the way, right, he was being backed up. Getting some feedback from your microphone, I think, AD. Not sure if you can hear it. Okay, there we go. Gone. Yeah, Mahmoud was getting backed up by Amoy and then basically just threw a nice straight right hand while getting backed up, dropping him, getting a very good knockdown. Started Amoy, got back up and made it a spectacle, bro, because he took it to Mahmoud after that, which was the right thing he needed to do. I felt that Amoy needed to close the distance, stay in the clinch, throw a lot of elbows, a lot of body shots. He needed to stay there, eliminate the distance, because when they stayed on the outside, he was just getting pieced up the whole time. Lots of body kicks, lots of low kicks from Mahmoud, fast 1-2s, lots of evasive movements. And that's how he stayed away from the danger, was that every time Amoy came forward, Amoy didn't change his entry, right? He came forward, and then 1-2, and then went forward with it. And Mamoto was just able to go slip underneath, cut an angle, reverse the position. Now Amoy's on the ropes, piece him up, throw a kick, step away, go back this into the cage. Of the ring. He was doing that the whole time, and that won him the fight, in my opinion. Where Amoy, I felt he needed to change the entry because he was successful in backing up Mahmoud because Mahmoud was comfortable with playing the counter striking game here by utilizing his longer reach. Amoy needed to do something different when he got Mahmoud back up against the ropes. Because when he got Mahmoud against the ropes, he just did the same thing the whole time, which was a 1-2 from the southpaw stance. Mahmoud was able to see that. If he did something else, like when he got Mahmoud back up against the ropes, maybe start the combination with a hard deep or a hard inside low kick and then a left two, or like a different combination. Hit the body first, come up with the right hand. Mahmoud was able to see his entry every single time, and that's why he was able to stay away from the danger. But he did get tired in that third round, which is something he can work on when he gets older. But still, a great fight from Mahmoud. He showcased a fighter that was able to utilize a game plan, coached really well, executed, and yeah, win the fight in a very clean fashion. Well done to Mahmoud.
Well done to you, BG. We also had the debut of Sandro Bosi announcing himself on the world stage at just the tender age of 16 years old. Getting the job done by KO in the very first round. Clean right straight. PG,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on the young man here, bro?
Yeah, nah, he's something else. He's definitely something special in Sandro Bosi. Very surprised that he was the underdog in this fight. I think we had a couple of guys in the chat when we did the live, and they were also surprised that he was underdog. So they cashed in majorly on this guy, like majorly cashed in on him, and I made a lot of money. But in terms of the performance, the kid is good. I just wonder if he's gonna be able to sustain himself at the atom weight limit of 115, just because he's gonna get bigger. I feel like he's gonna be over 6 foot by the time he gets 21 years old. I feel like he's gonna be maybe like a 125 or 135 or maybe, depending on what he does with his conditioning and strength. But you can't avoid aging. You can't avoid growing up. You know what I mean? So that's not what's it, Benjamin Button going on here. He's gonna have to get bigger and taller. So I don't know if he's gonna stay in this division going forward. But in terms of the fight style, the kid is phenomenal, elusive, fast, good range, fantastic combinations. And he can take a shot because Kirill landed some good shots on him and he was able to take it. He didn't look like he was getting rocked by it. Phenomenal dude. And yeah, the fight didn't even last that long. It was a first round KO. Look there. Look at that KO. Look at that KO. Oh, look at that. Beautiful stuff. And now he's talking about taking on Naraka Yoshinari. He's like, give me the title shot next. I want to take out Naraka Yoshinari. I don't know if he can do that just yet. This is your debut fight. And it does pose some very good threats for Naraka Yoshinari. Because he's like, right, he's a 6 foot atom weight. Who the hell is that? There's no other atom weight that size in that weight class. And coming into the organization with 3 belts already. It's like, nah, who is this lighty? You know, RWS champion already. So there's something to witness here. So I'm very, very, very intrigued and interested to see the growth of Sandro Bosi. And I hope that One Championship doesn't give him a one-fight contract. I hope that they actually give him a contract and let him compete. Let him go and take out that division because we know that Naraka is going to fight against Numsurin in November for the title for the atomweight division. So that means by the end of the year we will have a crowned king for the division. So yeah, that means it gives Sandro Bosi and all the other atomweight dudes something to fight for. You know what I mean? If Sandro Bosi really wants to get a title shot so soon, there's Song Chanoi. Fight against Song Chanoi. He's waiting for. I feel like Song Chanoi would be a good test for him. I do think that Sandro Bosi will beat him stylistically. I think he's a better fighter than Song Chanoi, but I don't know if he's got the same power as Song Chanoi, right? So let's see what that looks like. But yeah, there's a lot of other talent that he can take on before fighting someone like Naraka Yoshinari. But a very, very good debut for Sandro.
1000% PG. We also had Yod Udon get the job done in the very first round against Kong Borapa. What did you see here, bro?
Yeah, brutal KO from Yod Udon. Just fast left-hand combinations. Dropping Kong Borapa. I think it was 3 knockdowns. The third knockdown was just like took there. This is the third one. Boom! Left hand. That was right hand. But look at that. Kissing the ropes is Kong Borapa there. But before that, he landed 2 left straights that Kong Borapa dropped him. That was the other 2 knockdowns. But I'm gonna say this now. Kong Borapa needed to be more patient. You know, there's something that these fighters do is when they get knocked down, there's this deep tendency to want to get the knockdown back, right? And I know that because knockdowns obviously count as like getting 2 aces in poker. It's a big thing. It's a big thing to get a knockdown. But also you don't want to rush to get it. You just got knocked down. Like, are you fully recovered? And are you chasing this opponent down to get a knockdown while you're still trying to recover? Wasn't a smart decision because that's what he did in the fight. Um, he, they were both southpaw, right? And what Yod Udon did really well was when they got to the car crash exchanges, Yod Udon didn't stay there and threw like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which Kong Burapa was doing. Like when they got to the exchanges, Kong Burapa was throwing, and Yod Udon was he just threw 1, 2 shots, stepped away, watch, counter left. You know what I mean? It's like he was a lot more awake in those moments, and then that's what led to the knockdowns. And then when Ngorapa got back up to kind of get the fight back in his favor, he rushed the exchanges. Not done did exactly what he did there. He was just keeping his guard up, dodging, bang, catch him in a moment, and then dropped him. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the fight played out. And I did think Yodudan was going to beat him anyway because I did rate Yodudan quite high. Udon Noodles is really good. He just lost against other top atomweight contenders in Toyota and TI, were also powerful punches. So yeah, great performance from Yon Udon, and you're gonna see his name more frequently when it comes to the rankings of this division of the atomweight. Just watch, he's gonna climb it.
Thank you, BG. We also had Payakrut defeat Kong Pok Sai. This
Mhm.
was by unanimous decision, bro. What
Yeah.
happened here?
Yeah, Kong Poksai, a good, durable fighter, but doesn't do enough. You know, where Payakrut was able to stay active in all the moments that they were fighting, a lot of body kicks, set up a lot of the combinations. And Kong Poksai rushed getting to the exchange. Payak just threw a very fast counter right hand, dropping Kong Poksai in the first round. And then basically from there all the way through to the third round, it was just more of Kong Poksai trying to chase the knockdown back, but just not really landing anything, you know, just not really being able to be successful with those combinations. Spikert was smooth and elusive, and just like I said, every time Kwapuse would come forward, like put the pressure on, Spikert would land like a very hard body kick, which will stop Kong Pakse and force him to reset. Or throw a hard counter left elbow or right elbow, which would stop Kong Pakse every time. It would make him reset every single time. So that was basically the theme of the fight. It wasn't nothing else changed after that knockdown in the first round. It was just a lot of Firecrit on the back foot, counter striking, and winning the counter striking battles because he was landing cleanly the whole time. And Boxer just couldn't really assert his dominance. Very good pressure, but it didn't get to anything. It didn't result in anything successful for Kong Boxer. But yeah, good fight from both guys. They're still both of them are very young, so we will see them grow. But Firecrit, I don't know. I have to see more of him to say, listen, this kid is something special. I have to watch more. But in this fight in particular, perfect game plan. Be there on Matador to the bull. Won the fight that way. Top. Good stuff.
At 112 pounds, BG, we had your brother Dead. I remember you making quite an issue about his name, Dead. He did get the job done against Sipalang. I think you said you're not quite sure about the decision here, if I remember correctly from the stream. So give us your thoughts on this one, bro.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna stand my point. I'm gonna go stay with saying a robbery. Just because Dead look powerful, short, stocky, very lots of muscles, very explosive, right? But that's all he had. And Sipalang was just the one that was dominating the space of the fight. He was moving forward, throwing good counter elbows, fantastic knees in the exchanges. Really did a lot of body work, which was slowing Dead down significantly. It forced Dead to fight off the back foot the whole of that fight, right? Dead only really had forward pressure like the beginning of that first round. And Sipalang basically found his range and found his distance, and he was like, okay, I got this kid now. Basically, timing the counters. Every time Dead would come forward with an explosion, bang, elbow, tomahawk elbow, counter elbow, clinch knee. Sipalang just basically had an answer for everything that it was doing to him. And look, it was a bit of a rock'em sock'em towards the end of the fight. When they got to the third round, there was a little bit of back and forth. They did find a second wind, and he did start throwing some good stuff, doubling up on his body kicks, bang, 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 exploding like he normally does. But I still feel like for majority of that 9 minutes, Sipalang had the upper hand. You know what I mean? He had the upper hand. He landed more shots. He had Dead going back up. There was a moment in the fight where Dead was stuck in the corner on the turnbuckle. You couldn't get away from it. You were stuck there, and Sipalang just had him in that corner the whole time. So and I watched the fight back before we did this live, bro. And I just still didn't feel like they did enough to win the fight. He did enough to make it a split decision, which the fight was a split decision, but not in his favor. It was in Sipaling's favor, in my opinion. But anyway, still a fun fight. Both guys are still very young. Sipalang for me has more weapons, more tools, more creative with those tools. So I'm gonna be more keen to watch him more than to watch Dead. But Dead might have something in the division in terms of that knockout power. I just think that other fighters like Panulok and the ones I mentioned before this, like who did I say before this? Ti and Toyota and those guys, Pitt, for example. I think they would piece him up, bro. I think they would pick him up every single day of the week. So it's gonna have to level up his game a lot more, in my opinion, going forward. Sipalang, he doesn't have to do much. Maybe work on finding a knockout shot. But in terms of overall fight style, the kid's got the stuff, bro. He can fight. He can take a fight into different avenues, and I like that. There's not much you can do in a stand-up fight, really. But there's clinching in Muay Thai, so he could do that, right? He could take the fight there if he wanted to. He could use counter elbows if he wanted to, and that's what made him more dangerous, in my opinion. So I'm keen to see him more, even though he lost the fight.
Keep thanks, BG. To some featherweight Muay Thai now. We had Alverdi, babyface killer Ramazanov, defeat Dernchon here in the very first round. First round KO. Not really too much you can say here, BG, but what are your thoughts on the matter, bro?
Yeah, no, it was a mismatch. I mean, Ramazanov is a former champion, growing up in weight, taking on the young kid in Dernchon, sorry. um, I'm judging by the way the fans went on about Dernchon, is that maybe something special coming out of Thailand. I will say this: there's not many 6 foot plus Thai fighters other than Nabila Nan, but more so in the heavier divisions, right? We don't have a lot of Muay Thai guys in Thailand that are fighting lightweight, featherweight, for example. I think Dernchon can be something like that. The big takeaway for me from this fight is more to see what is Dernchon about. I knew he was going to lose. I had no doubt he was going to lose the fight. I said it in the preview as well. Ramazanov is a champion, and he only really lost against other champions. So it's like, this is a mismatch here. And Dernchon's only 20 years old. So like, why are they feeding him to the wolves here, right? But I did like what I saw before the knockout happened. It was good knees, lots of pressure, lots of good jabs, making Ramazanov think about what he needed to do. You know, normally I would think in a fight like this, the former champion and the experience of Ramazanov would go there and basically like piece this kid up and teach him a lesson and be like, this is how you fight the fight. But then Chun was the one that was doing that to Ramazanov, where he was like, what are you going to do? I'm going to come to you. I'm going to be the one to put the pressure on you. What are you going to do next? And that's why I'm going to give him props for the young man for doing that. Okay, it led to his KO. But yeah, not much you can really say other than that. Well done to Ramazanov, back in the win column in a new division, which is stacked of killers. Let's see what he does. He's a former champion. Maybe he goes in there and becomes a little bit of a mainstay around the top 5. I don't know if he can beat the champions in Tawanchai, but let's see. You know, I don't know if he can even beat Shadow. Shadow's in this division, so let's see what happens. But a great win for him at the end of the day.
We shall see indeed, and let us know in the chat all the comments if you have any thoughts on that. To some bantamweight kickboxing will go now, where Zhao Chongyang got the job done against Arman Moradi. This finish coming at 2:57 of round 2, brother Gaia.
Oh, really? 2:57? It was like close to the end of the round. It was like the last 3 seconds left. Yeah, I was very hyped for this fight just because I really wanted to see Moradi lose. That's mad because I don't know anything about the guy, but it looked like he's not bantamweight kickboxing. He looked like he's lightweight kickboxing. He looks big, massive. and he looked like he was bullying Zhao. Like he was, lots of power shots, lots of combinations. He was beating Zhao up heavy in that first round, like basically a 10-8 round in that first round. Pieced him up, bro. Pieced him up. And I kept on calling Zhang also on the live. But Zhao was still there. He didn't get knocked down. He was taking the shots, and he looked like he wasn't actually getting tired. He looked like he was more alive once they got into that second round. Because when the second round started, he was slipping the shots from Murari now. He was landing more of his shots. Right? He had Murari looking like he was a bit tired, and Murari looked like he was tired. While Zhao was coming at him, piecing him up, and letting the jabs go, letting the body shots go, slipping and ripping. And I was gonna say, yo, going into the third round, we're going into 1-1 here. It looks like a 1-1 fight. But then that's what happened. What you seen on screen now is exactly what happened. I was expecting the third round still to come to us. But Zhao actually threw that high kick more than once in that second round. He teased it, he threw it, he tested it out there. And Murari wasn't defensively aware of it. And that's why I think the high kick landed, because when Zhao did throw the kick in the early stages of that second round, Murari wasn't able to defend it. He just managed to get out of the way, but it was coming at him the whole time, and the eyes didn't show me that he was recognizing it and be like, okay, let me actually do something different about this high kick. He just kept on like staying into the pocket, and that's what happened there. Zhao knew, okay, if I throw a right, left, high kick combination, it's gonna land, because this man Murari was expecting to stay in the pocket with him and exchange fisticuffs. That's what they were doing. That's what they were doing the whole time, was staying in the pocket. So he was obviously settled and like, okay, I'm gonna stay in the pocket with Zhao now, and I'm gonna get him out of there. But then Zhao was like, well, eat this high kick, and which is a big thing. It says a lot about Zhao and his coaches, because they must have called that. They must have told him, this man's expecting for you to stay in the pocket here. Get the right high kick up there, and it's going to catch him. Especially because it was an open stance fight as well. Murari was coming out of him in southpaw, so it means that the high kick was always going to be there. So yeah, great performance, good bonus for him as well, and it got me out of my seat on the day.
Give thanks by the guy. And someone else who had the crowd getting out of their seats was Nongam. The crowd were going absolutely crazy for her. She got the job done here by unanimous decision against Esther Viola. So BG, Nongam giving the crowd something to shout about. Was she giving you something to shout about too?
Nah, sort of, kind of. She's obviously a fan favorite because she's a legend. She's obviously been around the block for years. Lots of knockout power. This wasn't Muay Thai though. This was kickboxing. So yeah, she didn't have that knockout power there. And this is why I'm saying I'm not that impressed, is because she fought on the back foot the whole time. She was going backwards. Esther was taking the fight to her. Esther was doing some good stuff. Esther was boxing at her the whole time. But that's also a knock on Esther. She didn't throw a single kick in this fight. It's kickboxing, guys, not boxing. She didn't throw a single kick. She just kept going forward, and the pressure was good enough to get Nongam into a corner. And then that's when Esther was just letting those boxing combinations go. I like that about it. I was like, oh, it looks good. It looks fun. It looks good. She's taking the fight to Nongam and forcing Nongam to do something. You're asking questions. Do something. Let's see what you got, right? And that's what you want from someone in a fight, is to do that to somebody. Like, put them in danger, force them to do something. And that's what Esther was doing. And Nongam, to her credit, was very accurate with her counter striking. I will give her that. She was super accurate. She was able to stay there, block a couple of shots, and then land her dominant stuff. All the overhands, good body kicks, fantastic knees. Even though you can't clinch knee, she didn't clinch. She just threw the knees, and I was like, okay, you're a legend. You got the stuff. You can do it. And also, she was durable enough to take Esther's shots, so she didn't have to worry about being KO'd. Because Esther landed on her, bro. Esther landed on her clean, and Nongam didn't even get rocked. So it was just like a poof. It's like Bolo vibes, you know what I mean? Just walk right through the fire. And won the fight by unanimous decision. I don't want to see them run it back. Happy to see Nongam back in the fight. But I'm also thinking, Esther, that was a good audition. Very good audition for the one championship, in my opinion. Because she took on someone that everyone thought she was going to lose to. She did lose to, but not in the fashion that they thought she was going to lose in. So yeah, well done to Esther. even though she lost the fight.
Fair play, Esther, and fair play, Nongam. Let us know in the chat any thoughts there. 128-pound Muay we had Hikaru Furumura get the job done here. His
Good
finish
fight,
coming in the second round against Songsae BG.
Yeah, nah. Oh, it was a mismatch. It was an absolute mismatch. Look, Songsae's, I've seen him before, not too bad, but this was a mismatch. I mean, Hikaru comes with a lot of credentials outside of one championship, and you could see by the style as well. You could see he's got that typical Japanese, attack the carve, attack the sternum with the uber teeps. Too smart, too smooth when it comes on the feet as well. Stay out of range. And then when he goes forward with all the types of combinations that these fighters can't seem to deal with. It's like, oh my calf, oh shit, my chest, oh no, I'm gonna shake my head. That's what's happening. He's throwing a 3-4 piece at you that's attacking your entire body. You know what I mean? And Songsae had nothing for that. He just didn't know what to do, bro. Look at that knockdown. Beautiful. Beautiful. He couldn't recover from it as well. And yeah, I've watched Furimura before. He fought against one of the Pitch brothers. I think the middle one, Kayas Muhammad. He fought against Kayas and smoked him, bro. And that fight was wild. It was only a 1-round fight, right? And both of them were knocked down in that first round. Furimura got back up, went back to his fundamentals, and had Muhammad backed up and knocked him out. Excuse me. So yeah, that's now 2 knockouts in a row for Furimura. Stoked to see him fight again. I want to see him fight more frequently. I think there's a talent there for one championship. And let's see what happens for that. I see it says 128. So I'm not too sure if he's going to go up to 135 or he's going to come down to 125. Either way, I see him as a problem for the division.
Speaking of the strawweight, his countryman Ryohei Kurosawa got the job done against Jason Middlepaz in some strawweight MMA. What can you tell us here about the guy?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet for this one. Kurosawa is a champion coming out of Ryzen, I think it is. And he took on a very good prospect in Jason Middlepaz. Jason Middlepaz, I'm going to say it now. He needs to find a way to grapple a little bit better from bottom. Because on the feet, it's like he pressures you and you have no choice but to be backed up. You have to fight off the back. He was doing that very, very well. But then he doesn't throw anything from there. You know what I'm saying? And he's a taller fighter as well. And I feel like he could have really pieced up Kurosawa. Because Kurosawa was backed up the whole time. And then Kurosawa realized, okay, I can't really strike with this dude. Took him down, and that's where Kurosawa did his best work. Basically got mount position quite easily. And some good ground and pound, good elbows. No submission attempts really, but lots of ground and pound. And basically won the fight like that. Took him down round 2, took him down round 3, and dominated the fight that way. Nothing else really happened. Whenever Middlepaz did get to his feet, he went back to the forward pressure, but again, just not throwing anything. You can't win the fight like that. You can't win the fight just by pressuring somebody. You're gonna have to do something with that pressure. And he's a taller fighter. He's tucked off for strawweight. Throw the deeps out there. Throw the high kicks. Jab. Jab, left, high kick. Edwards combination. Like, do some stuff like that. And also, he has good scrambles. So he doesn't have to worry about being taken down so much. But then when he guys get taken down, he chooses to stay on his back. I'm like, Jason, you can do so much more here, bro. And utilize that weapons and that height that's quite intense for strawweight. A lot of the guys are the size. But yeah, he didn't get it right. And Kurosawa on his debut, what a good fight, good win, all that.
To the opening bout of the card, BG featherweight against Kamal Guzinov. This coming in the third round by TKO.
Yeah.
What can you tell us in this one, bro?
Again, short and sweet. One championship, please stop hiring or getting these fighters that are so heavy, steroid heavy, wrestling heavy, They give you one good first round. They can't take you down. They're basically tanked, and then they get KO'd after that. Yeah, don't book these fighters. That doesn't look good for the brand. Ivan Bocek fought a good fight. I thought he was going to win. I said he was going to win previously as well. I said he was going to get him out today. It's exactly what he did. I always felt that if he was going to be able to avoid the takedowns, he was going to win the fight. That's what he did. Kamal Kusanov was very you could see the dude's shoulders is bigger than his head. So I don't trust fighters that have shoulders bigger than their head. I don't trust them. So and this fight proved why I don't trust them. Lots of wrestling, can't get it right, gets tired, gets KO'd, boom, pops your ankle. See it too many times. I'm not a fan of that kind of fighters.
Fair play, brother guy, and that will now round out on Friday fights 1, 2, 4. Quite nicely for us. Give us your post-fight analysis and rating, bro.
I don't know what my rating was pre-fight. Didn't give one, but I'm impressed with Sandro Bosi. Impressed with the youngsters on the fight card. Good display of atomweight fighters as well. Return of Nongam, crazy KOs, but the 2 robberies on the fight card does make me feel a little bit like that's like a Debbie Downer. So I'm gonna give the fight card a solid 7, just because the KOs makes up for that robberies. And also, even though there were robberies, that were still great fights. Lots of back and forth. I mean, Suriyanlek and Decho put on a mad fight, even though I think it was a poor display of the judges. It was a mad fight, so I can't dock it down too much. So I'm gonna give it a 7. Oh, what did I say? 7.5. What did I say? 7.
What did you say, bro?
I say 7.
Might be a good time for us to end the stream here, bro. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you have made it far in the stream video, whenever you are watching it, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. PG is gonna tell you about the new content that you can watch.
I watch a podcast every day. Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Let's go. Yeah, now looking forward to the week. I know there's no UFC this weekend, so we won't be doing any of that, but we will be doing some nice UFC media, which you can expect on the Wednesday. And then obviously on the Tuesday, we will do our One Championship news segment. I am thinking about doing a early release of the Friday Fights card for this one Friday Fights 21-5, just because we see that you guys love it. You guys love the Friday Fights content, so we're thinking maybe we're going to release a little bit earlier so you can have more insight early in the week, and then maybe that can help you with your parlay picks before the Friday Fights comes this Friday. And then obviously, speaking on that Friday Fights card, as usual, help us 2 time slot. You can catch us live for the one Friday Fights 125. But on that note, on myself, thanks to the Fighting with Friends team, have a very, very, very good week, and we will catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.